All right, welcome back, everybody. So we've talked a little bit about microphone positioning and some just basic tips and tricks to get the most you into the microphone and the least environmental stuff. Now I want to talk specifically about the Tula microphone. This is a really cool microphone. It is both an audio recorder and an audio interface, meaning you can use it to record while simultaneously using to plug into your computer and use it for your Zoom calls or recording or whatever it is that you want to do. And that's really cool because it means you can get the really great sound of this Tula mic into your computer or phone because it's got what's called a USB-C connection. You can actually plug this into an Android or an iOS phone device over a USB adapter, if you on the case of an iPhone, or directly into your Android device in the case of an Android. Why is that cool? It means that you can use this microphone out in the field with mobile technology to both simultaneously do a local capture on the microphone, so the little recording button on the microphone, while also having that high quality piped into your conference call on your tiny little device. And I think that's super cool. I really, really like that. I've done it with lavalier microphones, but not this is called a large diaphragm condenser microphone like this Tula. Anyway, very, very cool stuff. So I wanted to take a minute to talk about sort of the operation of the Tula mic and a couple of the modes on this thing, because I think it's going to be important to remember a couple of things here. So I'm going to hop over to Opera where I pulled up the manual. And I just want to point our attention to, and I will send this link as well, but page 11 and page 12, we can see we have the function buttons on the left and the right side of the microphone. Yeah, so I wanted to really call attention to a couple of different things. So this bottom one right here, this mic select on the lower left-hand side. And my mouse isn't in the screen, so sorry, you can't see me pointing, but you can hear me talking about it. Okay, so this mic select button on the lower left-hand side. Generally speaking, you want that not to be lit up. Why is that? Well, this microphone actually has two different types of patterns. One is a directional pattern, and one is an omnidirectional pattern. And the directional pattern will pick up sound in front of this sort of face and reject sound from behind and somewhat to the sides of that face. An omnidirectional mode is going to pick up sound from all sides of this microphone. So generally speaking, if I'm just doing a conference call, or I'm just recording me and I want to reject all the other stuff that's happening in a space, I do not want this light to be on. If, however, I am sitting down at a table and I'm going to put this mic down on this table and I'm having a conversation with 2 or 3 different people and I want to capture all of those people at the same time, I'm going to turn that mic select button so it's lit up so that this microphone is in omnidirectional mode so that it doesn't, reject the people that are sitting on the other side of the table. The other thing I wanted to call our attention to here are these top 2 buttons, these gain up and gain down buttons. And we're going to scroll down to the LED light buttons at the bottom, or what the lights mean at the bottom of this manual here. But first we're going to look at the front. So we've got this red one on the left and the green one on the right. And what do these little lights mean? Well, this left one will tell you whether or not you're recording, which is super useful. So you can see down here in the page 20, here's our recording indicator. I would just print this out and keep it somewhere just as a reference. I know it's helpful for me to have a little explanation of blinky lights somewhere nearby when I'm learning a new piece of gear. And then this right one, this green one, is what's called our gain meter LED. And I want to talk a little bit about gain meter. Well, what is gain? Gain simply means that we have a microphone diaphragm, and it receives the sound, and then after the microphone diaphragm receives the sound, it needs to amplify the sound so that it is useful information to have for anybody trying to hear the sound. And so that's where gain comes into play. Gain is just the amplifier that amplifies that sound, and we want that amplification to be at a level that is good but not distorting. So we want to be loud enough, but not distorting. So this indicator here is going to tell you whether or not you're distorting, whether you are too low, or whether you are kind of in that sweet spot. What you're probably going to want to do is set the microphone on a table, sort of point it up towards your mouth at about a 45-degree angle, and just sort of chat in a conversational level. And then you're going to pay attention to your little blinky light, here, and you're going to want to sort of talk a little bit soft and then get real loud and see what's happening with your blinky light. And what I would say is that you want to adjust on the left side, I believe, the gain. Yeah, here we go, the gain. So let's scroll back up so we can, here we go. You want to adjust your gain up so that when you are in conversational level, you are kind of hovering between that green and yellow zone. That's really going to be the optimal, like a green, mostly green with, some occasional yellow blips is really the ideal situation to have. Even though it says a bit high, what you don't want is to be sort of always in the green and then people are going, hey, you feel a little bit quiet. So it's better to kind of ride the line between where this thing happens to shift between yellow and green. If you notice that, you're sort of riding that line, but then when you get a little bit excited, you start entering this red territory, you might need to back that off a little bit. The good news is, if you're the only person using this microphone, you're probably only going to have to do this once or twice. And then you can kind of set it and forget it. That's about it. Those were the two things I really wanted to talk about with the Tula microphone. You can see on the back side here's the USB connection. So you just need a USB-C to whatever your flavor of USB is to plug it into a phone or computer. And then you can, in your messaging app, select this as the device used for a microphone. You'll notice you also have an output here. You can use that for headphones as well as a lavalier microphone. I'm not going to get into that. But that's something we can definitely explore, and I'd be happy to help out with if we're needing to do any more exploration there. I'm going to pull off of this so you can see my face a little bit. I think those was the only couple of things I wanted to really talk about. So this Tula microphone, it sort of has the little stand and it will go like this. I would suggest that if you have a couple of books and you can, kind of stack it so it's about here on the table or, an inch or two off the table, that's going to help get you the most U into the microphone, a nice crisp quality U, without getting as much room sound in the thing. Anyway, I hope this has been more helpful than rambling. I'm not sure if I missed things that people would like to talk about, but I'm available and around if anybody has questions or concerns or anything that I missed. I would say do a little bit of experimentation with the unit when you are sort of in your off time. Fiddle around with, we talked about the directionality. I would put headphones in so that you can listen to the microphone and kind of move around the microphone so you can hear where the best directionality is. But, generally speaking, this sort of front area of the microphone here, this is going to be the business end, the part with the logo on it. And they could be LEDs to tell you whether or not you are, loud enough and or recording. But yeah, super cool piece of gear. Really looking forward to seeing what you guys do with this in your next sessions. And thanks so much for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun.